Have you ever noticed how some adults apologize before they tell you they're hurt? Not after, before. Almost as if they need permission to have the feeling in the first place. They'll say things like, I know this is stupid. I probably shouldn't be upset. I'm probably overreacting. This probably isn't a big deal. And every time I hear someone say that, I wonder what happened to them. Because nobody is born apologizing for their emotions. Nobody comes into the world believing that sadness is a burden, or that tears are embarrassing, or that hurt feelings are evidence of weakness. Those beliefs get taught, usually slowly, usually repeatedly, and often by people who never intended to cause harm. Some children grow up in environments where emotions are welcomed. When they're scared, someone helps them feel safe. When they're sad, someone sits beside them. When they're hurt, someone listens. And over time, those children learn something powerful. My feelings make sense. But other children learn a very different lesson, not because they weren't loved, not because their parents were bad people, but because emotional discomfort was treated like a problem that needed to disappear as quickly as possible. So instead of hearing, tell me what happened, they heard, you're fine. Instead of hearing, that must have hurt, they heard, you're being dramatic. Instead of hearing, I understand why you're upset, they heard, you're too sensitive. And eventually something shifts. The child stops focusing on the experience and starts focusing on themselves. Instead of asking, why did that hurt? They begin asking, why am I like this? The question follows many people into adulthood. Why do I cry so easily? Why do I take things personally? Why do criticism and rejection hit me so hard? Why do I replay conversations in my head? Why do I feel embarrassed after expressing emotion? Why do I constantly worry that I'm too much? And often the answer isn't weakness, it's shame. Not shame because of something they did, shame because of what they learned about themselves. Because somewhere along the way, they begin believing that having feelings was the problem. And once shame attaches itself to emotion, people begin monitoring themselves constantly. They monitor their tears, their reactions, their needs, their facial expressions, their voice, their boundaries, everything. Many emotionally sensitive adults become incredibly self-aware, not because they enjoy it, because they spent years trying to avoid criticism, trying to avoid rejection, trying to avoid being told they were too much. And eventually they become experts at reading everyone else, while becoming strangers to themselves. The irony is that many of these people are some of the most compassionate people you'll ever meet. They notice when someone is struggling. They remember details. They pick up on emotional shifts. They care deeply. But because they've spent so much time managing themselves, they often struggle to extend that same compassion inward. They're gentle with everyone except themselves. Patient with everyone except themselves. Understanding with everyone except themselves. And healing often begins when they realize something important. The goal was never to become less emotional. The goal was never to become harder. The goal was never to stop caring. The goal was never to stop feeling. The goal was to stop being ashamed of feeling. Because there is a difference, a profound difference. You do not need to become less human to become healthier. You do not need to become less caring to become stronger. You do not need to stop crying to become resilient. You simply need to stop treating your humanity like evidence against yourself. And for many people, that realization changes everything, because they finally stop asking, what's wrong with me? And begin asking, what happened that taught me to believe there was something wrong with me? And that question opens a very different door. A door toward understanding, a door toward compassion, a door toward healing, and maybe for the first time in a very long time, a door back to themselves. Thank you for tuning in to Recovering Perfectionist Mama, Grace in Progress. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. I know there are a lot of options and I just appreciate it. If you got some value from this, please feel free to like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And just so you know, we do have an awesome, compassionate, empathetic community. Everyone is welcome. We're a welcoming place and a safe space. So if you would like, feel free to join our community. We'd love to have you. So thank you so much. And I hope you have a great rest of your day and hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.